welcome into a brand new episode of WSI TV. Enjoy the show.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Informer Spotlight. We are back on our normal schedule, and as usual, I'm joined by Tayler. So we just got back from AWS in Vegas, so it was a great time. We're really excited if we got to meet you. If you didn't come, videos are still available, right? So.
Yes. Our 2 live streams that Lee and I did while we were there in Vegas are still available, and of course we do have that little teaser that we put up last week from all the footage that we took in Vegas that will be coming in the coming weeks, but you can take a look at that video. That exclusive look is up for you on the channel, so go ahead and check that out.
So today we're going to be talking about how to make $35,288 by not paying taxes. So Tayler came up with this one, brought it all to us. So it's going to be really great. Before we get into all of that, as always, we have to remind you to go on to WSITV.com and sign up for our free daily newsletters and get instant access to WSI Vault for free. So Tayler, you want to talk to us a little bit about this?
Yes, so before we get into this, I do want to say we're not encouraging you to evade taxes. You are going to still be paying them, but we are going to be talking about a way that's kind of a loophole that you don't pay as many. And there are some things that involve the stock market. We're going to talk a little bit about donations, especially as we come into the holiday season, which is the season of giving, as you pointed out to me earlier. But before we get to that, we do want to reprise one of our segments that we started here due to our trade war episode on They'll Pay the Jar later. We are talking about your everyday savings tips. So with the trade tension still going on, we did see President Trump did sign a deal late last week with China, but that is phase 1. It is literally step 1 in a very long and arduous process that is nowhere near complete. So while you may hear the headlines saying pop the champagne, the trade war's over, that may not necessarily be true. We still have quite a few things that are up in the air. So
absolutely.
as we get into that, we do have a recommendation for you that you can hide out in domestic stock funds. If you're worried about the effects that the trade deals may have on your holdings, we do have a stock fund for you. It is FXAIX. It is the Fidelity 500 Index Fund, which is entirely based on American-based companies. So if you're really worried about these trade tensions, that's something that you could look into, and it is, of course, a very strong chart, as you can see behind us.
Yeah, it's at that all-time high, so we're looking good there. So good option if you're worried about what's going on, which we don't want you guys to freak out. That's why we're here. But there are still little things here and there that we're trying to protect you from. So this is one of the best ways to make sure that your stock investments are safe.
For sure.
So back to not paying taxes. So, Tayler.
Yes, so the reason that I kind of looked into this is I just stumbled upon it, but of course I understand that filing taxes is tedious, it's stressful, nobody's looking forward to tax day in April. That's not a holiday that I put on my calendar. But so there's a way that we can kind of ease some of the pain and take some of the stress out of it. So we do have a forever tax break for you. There's a way that you can make your tax deductions kind of work for you as opposed to against you. There's a new way that you can establish that you're not paying through the nose as you may have been in the past, and there's a little finagle way to put it in there. So we'll talk about that today.
Yeah, so we're talking about marrying donations and stocks. So kind of at odds with each other, you would think, but we have an interesting insight onto it. So you still have to file your income tax, which is our big thing. We're not telling you not to do your taxes. You still have to do your taxes, or the IRS will come after you.
Yes.
But there is a loophole that lets you get out of the taxes that you would otherwise be paying out.
Exactly. Yes. So, as I'm sure many of you know, contributions to charities are tax deductible. So if you do have a certain charity that you donate to every year, or if you do goodwill donations or things like that, those are things that you can deduct from your taxes. And on the flip of the other side of the coin, we do have the stock market profits that you make in your investment accounts, or if you're just trading on your own. If you take that money out of your account, you're slapped with a capital gains tax, which can usually be pretty hefty. I'm not sure of the number off the top of my head, but it's pretty substantial. And if you're making lots of money in the stock market, which we hope that you are, that's something that you could see your profits getting chipped away little by little. So we're going to try and make sure that that doesn't happen.
Absolutely. So just a little bit on tax deductible things. People often don't know what that little receipt is for if you donate to Goodwill or anything. So that's part of your income that you then can submit for when you're submitting your taxes. You submit that little receipt that you get at Goodwill or whatever else, and that amount is taken away from your total for the year. So it's a little bit less taxes that you have to pay out of that total, because the total that you brought in is technically less.
Exactly.
So I didn't know how that worked until
No.
I had to learn how to be a real adult, and even
Exactly,
then someone
yes.
had to explain it to me.
It is all very confusing, yes.
Yeah, so our happy medium, so that you get to capitalize on that, is donor advised funds. So if you want to talk a little bit about that, Tayler.
Yes, of course. So most of you, I'm sure, are familiar with things like retirement accounts or just plain investment accounts. A donor advised fund is basically the same thing, except instead of the payout going to you at the end, it goes to a charity of your choice. So you pick the stocks that you'd like, you pick a fund manager. The one that we're talking about today is Fidelity, but you can choose whichever one you'd like. We're not affiliated with any of them. And Fidelity just happens to offer something called donor advised funds, where you can choose an IRS approved charity of your choice, pick a fund manager, they pick stocks for you, and all those gains go to a charity.
Yeah, so it's all tax free.
It is all tax free. Yes.
So what are these funds? Like Tayler said, it's kind of like paying into your retirement account. It's the same concept where you start with a smaller amount and it slowly grows, just like in the stock market. The only difference is you aren't taking out those returns for yourself at the end, they're going to a charity of your choice. So we're not saying to do this instead of investing in stocks and using your money to make more money for you. We're just saying in addition.
Yes.
If you do make a small investment every year or a small donation every year, this is a way to make it bigger.
Yes.
Because I know that money is tight around this time of year for everybody, and this is also the season of giving, so everybody wants to donate. But if you can only donate 100 or 200 and you feel bad about that amount because it's smaller, this is a way to make that money grow.
Exactly.
Yeah, so how does this help you?
That's a very good question. So you probably do have charities that are really close to your heart. I know, for example, I would donate all of my money to an animal shelter if I could, but obviously that's not feasible. So say you set aside $100 a year for charities, but you know the philanthropic part of you really wants to give away $1,000 or $2,000, or the number is infinite, however how you'd like to go. Now you don't have to sit there and count your pennies and say, well, maybe if I don't buy this Christmas gift, I can donate more, kind of thing. Now you can just put a set amount into whatever you'd like. We do talk a bit about position sizing here at WSI, but you set aside a little bit and it goes into that donor advised fund, and you can donate as much as you'd like. Whatever those gains are, it goes tax free into that charity. And it's kind of one of those things that you put your soul over your wallet a little bit, but especially this time of year, it's really good to get involved in things like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's a way of not investing as much in a charity for you, so it's less of a harm on you personally, but you're still doing a lot of good. And this is completely hands off, just like the stock market. You put it in and it takes care of itself.
Exactly.
Obviously, with the stock market, we have rules about when you have to keep your eye on
Yes,
it, but
yeah.
generally very hands off.
Yes.
So why should you donate? Donor advised funds are one of the easiest and most tax efficient ways to donate. It's completely tax free. Not all of your favorite charities will be completely tax free. It depends. It may be a hybrid company. You never know. But with this, it's completely and totally tax free. It continues to grow tax free, and then it makes more money available, like we said, to those charities. So we don't want to just tell you how to donate, though.
Yes.
We are really excited to bring this to you because it's a really great loophole to give as much as possible to the charities that need it. But we always want to give you guys gains as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So where do your profits come from?
Obviously, the stock market. If you're here and you're watching, you probably have figured that out by now. So the companies that Lee and I have looked into for this episode specifically is because they are the most charitable publicly traded companies. So these companies just happen to be big names. I didn't look through the top big blue chip stocks to figure these out. It just happens to be that Microsoft, Walmart, and Google are one of the top charitable companies on the market. So we're going to talk a little bit about those now. But the reason we chose them is because of the charts. So
yeah, so the charts look great, and their philanthropic efforts are great.
Exactly.
So good,
good all
combination.
around.
Yeah. So first we've got Microsoft, and I'm just looking at the chart here, and it's so strong. We've used that as a standpoint for a lot of things.
Sure.
I think we use that in our book as our standard
I
of what
think
to look
so,
for in
yeah.
a stock. But they donate $2 million a day.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
That's insane.
So if you invest in this stock, you're going to get great gains back, and then you're also doing good for this company that is doing good for others. And then we've got Walmart. We'll talk a little bit about this one.
Yes, so Walmart is the largest donor in the retail industry, and of course, obviously, it's a household name brand. But if you do invest in Walmart, we're looking at that huge upwards trend just in the later half of the chart, but the rest of it looked pretty strong as well. So it's also going to get a boost probably around this time of year, seeing as we're in the holiday season. Most people let that retail bump kind of sneak up on them, but Walmart's been doing really strong in the past 6 months, and we can expect that to go even higher as Christmas is finishing out.
And then we've got Google, which allows complimentary use of software for nonprofits, which is huge. We were talking about this a little bit the other day. The use of software is usually a very, very pricey thing. It's everything from Microsoft Offices to just anything you can imagine to make a company run.
Yeah.
And with the complimentary use, you don't have to worry about any of that setup on the technology.
Exactly.
So that's a huge overhead that nonprofits really can't take on.
Exactly.
So that's a big, big plus for Alphabeting. And this, again, the chart here looks really, really good. It's been on the rise for years.
Yeah.
And it's had a really big jump this year, specifically, especially in the last
sure.
half of the year.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about this one. And we've also got some good diversity between these three stocks.
Yeah, exactly. They're not all in one sector, and like you said, they all have different ways of reaching out. It's not like they all just throw a bunch of money at charities. So it is very interesting to see how they're playing out in the market. But
yeah, absolutely. And so with the last jump, if we were to get in on these stocks, you would have made $35,288. And that's just the most recent rise on when to get in and out of these stocks. There's still more to be had in the future. Tayler, I think you were saying yesterday that this is probably going to be an even bigger number next year because stocks are looking good. The market's looking good.
I mean, we're in the middle of the bull market still. Yeah. I mean, we're totally expecting these to keep going up. So
absolutely. So if you get in on them, you can have a share of those profits. So next April, don't forget to properly do your taxes.
Yes, it's very important to properly itemize your deductions. That refund is a really nice check if you do that correctly. And then go ahead, if you feel obligated to, go ahead and set up a donor advised fund. It's a great opportunity for you. It is tax beneficial, and you can collect gains for good causes and skip out on stock market taxes. So, and you also get that profit from the most charitable companies on the market. So it's definitely a good boost for your bank account there too.
So all around. I think that's all we've got for you.
Yeah.
But, we're really excited to bring this to you. I was really excited to learn about the donor advised funds because I didn't know about that before Tayler brought it to my attention. So thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching the latest episode of WSI TV. Be sure to visit WSITV.com where you can subscribe for free with no contract and gain instant access to the secrets of self-made millionaires via the WSI TV Vault. So go ahead and claim this gift for free now at WSITV.com.